Hello and welcome to Innoventsoft Academy channel. Today we'll discuss about optimizing content using SEO. As per the agenda, we'll look into what is search engine optimization and its role in organic marketing. We'll discuss about what Google has to say about SEO. Then we'll understand three key elements of SEO, that is technical optimization, on-page optimization and off-page optimization. We'll also take an example and work, and then we'll conclude our whole agenda with certain explore tools which can be used to achieve SEO, and then we'll summarize it. Now let us understand what is search engine optimization. It is a technique which is used to modify website pages in order to improve organic search result and provide better site experience. In a nutshell, digital marketer and product marketers can use SEO techniques to make sure that their content pieces are getting ranked in Google search engine or any search engine for that matter. Now, as in our previous chapters we have discussed, all the marketing efforts are getting translated into web pages. Now it is essential to understand and ensure that all the web pages are written to the optimum level and they perform at the optimum level. Let us kind of look into a few points regarding SEO. These are kind of like myths, so we'll try to bust them. What is SEO and what it is not? Now, SEO is logical best practices. They are set of guiding principles to ensure that your content or web page content is working at the optimum level. And what SEO is not, it is certainly it's not a magic, and it is not any hidden tips and tricks that anyone cannot perform. Now, if you look at who can do SEO, anyone can do SEO. Everybody who understands the best practices can easily optimize their content. As we have mentioned, as Google mentions, that these are the set of best practices and they are easy practices, not very complicated. Anyone can go through the best practices and can optimize their content anytime. Third is, who does SEO works for? I mean, which organization qualifies for SEO? Now, SEO can be done for both B2B and B2C business. So that means it is a standard practices which can be followed by any company, any person in that company, and can be benefited out of them. We have provided a source at the bottom. You can, if you want to understand more about SEO, you can do that. We have read through the article, we have implemented all the techniques ourselves, and we have tried to understand what works best. And that's how we have come up with this content. Now let us understand the three basic elements of search engine optimization. The first is technical optimization. Now there are certain tricks or rules, I would say, you have to follow to make sure that Google can index, crawl and understand your content. Then we'll talk about on-page optimization. There are certain logical best practices which a writer has to keep in mind to provide rich site experience. And the third one is off-page optimization, which is done to increase the visibility of the content. Now, when you do follow the best practices, most likely your content will appear in the first page of Google. Alright, so now earlier we have discussed that for every B2B website, most of the traffic would come from organic or referral traffic or paid traffic. Almost 95% traffic comes from these channels. Now, only less than 1% traffic would come from certain content syndicated sites. So with that, we want to emphasize on the first two things, that is technical optimization and on-page optimization, which will ensure to provide you more organic traffic than traffic coming from the sources that are not important to B2B. So that's why we will emphasize technical optimization and on-page optimization as very, very important for B2B organization. Now we'll talk about off-page optimization in this chapter, but we want to stress that technical and on-page will be quite important and critical for any B2B content success. Now, before moving into technical optimization, let's understand certain concepts. When you search for a keyword, let's say cookie ice cream in Google, now different content would appear. Now, the URL you see, which have been highlighted, is called page URL. Below that, what is written is chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches in bold letters is called meta title. And just below the meta title, you have a 1 or 2 line description which highlights what the whole content all about. That is called meta description. And the image that you see in the extreme right hand side corner, that is called the featured image. Now, these four important elements provide an idea to the user what the content is all about, so that they can go ahead and click and start reading or consuming your content. Now, this all meta title, page URL, meta description and featured image plus some others will make the technical optimization. Now, technical optimization can be done using 10 steps, and these are sitemap.xml, page URL, meta title, meta description, featured image, header tags, media tags and structured URL. Now, these are quite important to understand each of them, and we have to ensure that for particular keyword for which the content has been written has to be present in most of these items. Now, first one is sitemap.xml. Without registering your content URL into sitemap.xml, your content will never be visible in google.com. So ensure that you are registering or indexing your URL in sitemap.xml. Sitemap.xml, by the way, is very specific to everyone's website. The second one is page URL. Always try to use a keyword in the URL for Google engine to understand that for a particular keyword, your URL is quite important, contextual. Meta title and meta description, I have already specified that you need to mention those keywords for which the content has been written, so that Google understands that your content is contextual for the user's intention. Now, we will talk about all of this in detail in a working example, but let us kind of go through it right now. Featured image, again the name of the featured image needs to have a keyword, then h1, h2, h3, all the header tags. You can try to use, not necessarily you have to use the keywords, but you can try to use the chosen keyword for which you are writing the content. Media tags, if you are using images and videos, then try to name them with some keywords that for which you are writing the content for. Lastly, structured URL. Follow a particular structure. For example, if you are writing a blog, it cannot be in xyz.com/case study/ebook/white-paper and then the blog. It has to follow a certain structure, that is website, then blog and then the blog name. Let's talk about on-page optimization. On-page optimization can be achieved using 5 steps. Now, the reason why it is called on-page, because all the configuration and modifications are done inside the content itself. That is the reason it is called on-page. Now, the first rule or the first step of on-page optimization is focus on formatting. If you have a thought which you have written in a text format, try to break it into small consumable paragraphs. Attention span of the readers are going down, so it is always advised to keep your paragraphs maybe 3 or 4 lines maximum. Second point is use simple language and with less grammatical errors. Now, people do not want to read novels. They want a plain simple language without any bombastic words so that they can consume it directly, because B2B blogs has to be consumed easily so that people can take decisions out of them. Third point is adequate examples. Use adequate examples to highlight your notion or highlight your ideas. Fourth point is use image and illustrations. Now, apart from text, if you use image, improves the user engagement. They can consume your content quite easily. We have mentioned in our earlier chapters, 80% of your content will never read the whole content. Only 20% of them will read the whole content. 80% of them will only scan the content. In that case, your headings, images are quite important to provide them a notion about the idea that you want to portray. Fifth one is refer sources. If you are referring to certain research or certain facts, then try to provide credit to them by providing link to their site. Second, if you want to promote your product and solution pages, then please provide links to those pages. And the linking to internal pages are called interlinking, and linking to any third-party sources are called providing links or backlinks. Now let us look into off-page optimization. Off-page optimization can be achieved through 3 steps, that are syndicating your content and various third-party partner sites. If you are publishing your content into your partner sites or with the companies with whom you have made alliance, or any sites, for example Reddit or Quora, you can improve the visibility. Now, disclaimer is that there are less chances that people will go to those forums and come back to your website. This is true for most B2B organizations. Second is promote the content in social media. This is quite obvious and conspicuous. Obviously, if you have to improve the social media engagement, you have to promote content in those places. Third point is guest blogging or influencer blogging. If you want to promote your content pieces in some third-party sources like influencers, or you feel that certain influencer has got a lot of target audience and they can make your brand aware by promoting your content, then go ahead with that. But that is something called influencer marketing or referral marketing, and since influencer and referral marketing involves cost, we have kept them out of our scope or out of our course, because organic marketing deals with only unpaid avenues. Now let us take a working example, cookie ice cream. XYZ is a company which sells best cookie ice cream in Rivington Street, New York. And after doing the keyword research, they want to write a blog on best cookie ice cream in New York. As a marketer, how can you optimize the content the best possible way? Now, optimization here means try to think of technical optimization. You can take 1 or 2 minutes, take a pen and paper and jot down your thoughts. We'll talk about the solution. We'll look at the different techniques that could be applied to optimize the blog best cookie ice cream in New York to the optimum level. Now let us first look into the blog, how it can be broken down. Now a blog can be written in the format that you see in the screen. It can have particular headings. The whole notion can be, ideas can be broken into certain paragraphs, and one of the headings can have best cookie ice cream in town at Morgenstern's to highlight where you will get the best cookie ice cream. And then finally you can have one image and there is one CTA, order now. Now in the content marketing, we had discussed how to create the content. We'll not get into the details over here, but to have a best content, you can always ensure that you are placing adequate CTAs, images to increase engagement and also increase navigability and to provide users take actions. Now moving on to the technical optimization of this blog, let us take the 10 steps. Now first, let us look at sitemap.xml. Like we already specified, you can open the sitemap.xml, website name /sitemap.xml. You can go ahead and change it. If you are a website administrator, you would know where the file would be. You can just go ahead and index the new blog so that Google can start indexing your content. The second is page URL. You can ensure that the best cookie ice cream in New York as a set of keyword is always present in your page URL. Similarly, the keyword is also present in the meta title and meta description as well. In this case, we have chosen the meta title to be get the best cookie ice cream in New York. You can obviously create your own snappy meta titles, catchy meta titles, but ensure that they are short, they are a maximum of 60 characters and they carry the keyword, intended keyword. Similarly, meta description, always ensure that they are 160 characters long and they need to have the keyword for which you are targeting the content for. Fifth is the featured image. You can have a featured image. In this case, I will try to use a featured image which will call it as best cookie ice cream in New York.jpg. H1, H2, H3 similarly will try to provide catchy headlines and will try to ensure that it has got keywords that is best cookie ice cream in New York. Media tags, we'll try to provide as many images as we can, and if we can, then we'll try to provide a video, let's say customer testimonial or something like that, and we'll provide the image name and video name in a way that it will carry the keyword itself. Now the final thing is structure URL. Obviously the structure, it's a blog and it cannot be put anywhere in random places, so the structure can be, logical structure can be xyz.com, then the blog, then the best cookie ice cream in New York. That's the name of the blog. And if you look at the second point, page URL, that's how the structure looks like, xyz.com/blog/best cookie ice cream in New York. Now let's summarize what we have learned today. We have discussed the role of SEO in organic marketing. We understood the 3 important elements of SEO, top 10 steps that is needed to champion technical SEO, 5 steps to achieve on-page SEO, and 3 steps to perform off-page SEO. We have taken an example of cookie ice cream for you. We have tried to understand how it can be optimized using 10 steps of technical SEO. So that's all. Thanks for watching. If you have any feedback or doubts, please feel free to reach out to us at academy@innoventsoft.com. Thank you.